Hi, I'm Cub Master Jim Kelson with Pack 443.
I'm Ariel Kelson, Den Leader with Pack 443. Welcome to your University of Scouting hiking.
Today we're going to give you some just real brief overviews of how our pack goes out on a pack hike, and hopefully you can pick up a few ideas for your own pack.
Enjoy! As part of your planning ahead, I find it very beneficial to make sure that you've gone and walked the trail. That way you can personally know how steep an incline might be, how rocky it is, and you can better prepare your families who are going to be attending this hike with you. We don't want to get partway along and then realize that a family member or a Cub Scout can't make a particular area. So make sure we check everything out, looking for hazards, being prepared, and having our weather ready to go. Alright, so when we're talking about backpacks, make sure that the kids have their 6 essentials, but also remember they're not your pack mule. So we want to stick around that 10 to 20% of their body weight. So for your average 60-pound kid, that's only going to be 6 to 12 pounds. So be sure to check what they've packed in there and that they don't overdo it.
I got my 6 essentials, or was that 60? I don't ever remember. Oh, it's heavy.
Little too much weight, I think. Cub Scouts, don't forget those 6 essentials. So those 6 essentials will be your backpack to hold everything in. But the 6 are your water bottle, your first aid kit, your flashlight, a whistle, sun protection, and a snack. Whether that's trail mix, some granola bars, something easy that you can unwrap quickly and enjoy. And here in Nevada we also recommend a 7th essential, which is sometimes your bug spray. Those mosquitoes can be brutal.
That's much better.
Always make sure your scout is dressed appropriately for the weather to come. In Nevada here we encourage you to always dress in layers. Make sure your scout doesn't over or underdo it.
I can't put my arms down. It's a good idea to always check your trail before you actually go out hiking with your scouts. Even better is to actually walk the trail at some point in time before you go on your hike. The other thing is to always check for whatever the rules and regulations are for the area that you're hiking in. And most of those trails are going to have some kind of a sign that gives you an idea of how tough some of the trails are, as well as whatever the rules are as far as who needs to yield to what traffic. But typically with our pack, we've always just made the rule that since we're a large, sometimes unruly group, that our entire pack will get off the trail anytime somebody else is coming. So we've got our 6 essentials, we've got our water, and we're ready to go on a hike now. And by the way, Miss Ariel, Cub Master Jim says that the fanny pack is really coming back in style. Alright, so one of the things that we always like to do with our pack before we go on our hike is to recite the outdoor code. And this just helps to remind the kiddos that they're going to be doing their best to protect the outdoors as they're going out and taking advantage of it. So, our outdoor code. Scout sign. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded. Another important thing to go over with all your scouts is the principles of leave no trace. So the idea here is that when we go out on a hike or on a camping trip, we're going to leave everything exactly the way it was, the way we found it. So you want to, in order to follow the leave no trace principles, you want to plan ahead and prepare, travel and camp on durable surfaces, dispose of waste properly. Whatever trash you bring in, make sure you take it out, and then leave what you find. This is a really tough one for scouts, as we'll get to here in a minute. Minimize your campfire impacts. Keep your campfires small and manageable, and make sure that you're using appropriate camp rings if they're all campfire rings if they're already available, or dismantling any campfire ring that you make or find. Respect wildlife and be considerate of other visitors. So going back to the leave what you find on a hike, this is probably one of the bigger ones that you're going to be impacted by. Scouts love collecting rocks. I'm kind of the same way. I guess I should have left all these. Yeah, I like my rocks. What about, do I have, okay. But I was going to take these home with me. No? Another important thing is to make sure to use the buddy system. So we always have our scouts pick a buddy before they go out on their hike. Now this buddy should be somebody that's within a couple years of their age group, and usually we allow kiddos, scouts that are in the same den to be buddies. It just kind of depends on the numbers that we have. But make sure that they stick to that buddy system. Now, when you have 30 scouts out on a hike, especially if it's more than like 5 minutes, somebody is going to have the call of nature. You want to make sure that they go together as buddies, and that they take care of their needs in as proper of a way as possible. And obviously, hopefully you've got most of your parents with those scouts. I think it's also totally reasonable that a parent should assist a scout with that. So in addition to the buddy system, you also want to make sure that you do occasional buddy checks. Make sure that they've got their buddy with them. When you yell buddy check, they should be able to grab the hand of their buddy, raise it up in the air, and do that pretty quickly. If anybody gets separated from their buddy, make sure that you remind them that they need to stay with their buddy the whole time. And then the other thing would be that having the buddy system is kind of an easy way of getting back regrouped as you're going down the trail. So those buddy checks are a good opportunity to get everybody lined back out, spaced back out, and acting appropriate on the trail. Oh, this is a long hike. That is a cool ditch. I gotta check this out. Review some safety ideas with your scouts before you go on your hike. One of the things that we like to really quickly remind our scouts are the acronym SAW. Stay in one place, answer if anyone calls your name, and whistle to get other people's attention. They're gone. I guess I better stay here and wait.
Jim, Cubmaster Jim, where are you? Jim?
I'm over here.
Jim?
I'm over here.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm glad you guys found me. I just wandered off. I'm sorry.
So when we're hiking, we like to try to make sure that we have leadership at the beginning and leadership at the end. We typically try to put our scouts either with a den together or one den above or below. If we keep all of our scouts within their same den, we all know which buddies are allowed to be together and which ones will goof off. So make sure you separate those out so we don't have any problems while walking on the trail. As we're walking, make sure kids keep their feet picked up, no dragging, kicking up dust. Those of us in the back, we don't want to choke on all of that yuck. When we are hiking, we try to keep our scouts in an order that will encourage them to continue hiking. So don't put your strongest, fastest hikers at the front. We want them a little towards the back, maybe the middle, so that we can all go the same pace. We try to typically put Webelos together, lions together, and then put bears, separating them out by age group, intermingling older children between the youngers. Typically will help keep them moving at a steady, comfortable hiking pace.
Things that we want to make sure and cover with you are some ways that we've found that are helpful to keep your scouts engaged during the hike. And especially if you're going on a 2 or 3, 4 mile hike with a bunch of Cub Scouts, they're gonna kind of get tired and they'll lose interest pretty easily. So some of these games are a really fun way to help keep them interested in what we're doing. So the first game that we have here is hiking bingo. So if someone's going to have to, a leader's going to have to go and look at that route ahead of the time of the hike, and find some interesting items along the trail. Then create a bingo card that's got some of those interesting items on it, and scouts then race to get to bingo on the hike. Next, the next idea that we have for you is hiking color match. So you're going to get some of the paint swatches from Home Depot or Lowe's. You can ask them for old samples. Most places, paint places, will have that. And then you're going to have scouts try to find matching colors while they're on their hike to the colors that are on their paint swatch. Next is show me something cool. Assign each scout to an area. Have them show you something cool that they find. And then, of course, return that item to the wild and make sure that we're leaving no trace. And obviously, if it's a creature, maybe they shouldn't be picking it up. Maybe everybody should come over to them to see their cool item. 5 senses. So we've got sense of smell, sound, sight, taste, and touch. So try to find one thing for each of those 5 senses during the hike. Don't let the scouts taste test without asking first. Obviously, we don't want to get into a situation with poison, something poisonous. But some different ideas. I saw ants crawling on a rock. I heard birds chirping. I smelled the flowers blooming. I felt the wind blowing. I tasted my trail snack. Well, at least the M&Ms. All right, proof of creatures. Have scouts look for proof of critters that live in the environment on your hike. Examples would be chewed leaves, scat, tracks, dens, holes, mounds, anything that might identify that there are critters living in the area on your hike. Alphabet game. Try to find something that starts with each letter of the alphabet on your hike, and then fill that out on a form, or jot it down in a hiking journal, something along those lines to keep them engaged. Inspector. Pick a spot to stop. Hand out a magnifying glass and challenge the scouts to find something interesting to study with their magnifying glass. Artist. This time the scout picks a spot and they draw what they see. It could be whatever it is that they find interesting about that spot on the hike. Follow the leader. Pick a scout to be in charge. That scout then gets to tell the other scouts how they're going to walk, if they're going to walk funny or like a snail or like a horse, where they're going to stop and what they're going to look at along the hike. Scouts love being in charge. So this is a fun one. And then, of course, the classic annoying game, I spy with my little eye this or that, and Obviously, we don't want to listen to that the whole way on our hike, but you know, you can make little variations on that as well. And then, of course, we've got repeat after me songs. And the Scouts love doing these as well while we're on our hikes. So another way to just keep them off, keep their minds off the fact that they've been hiking for as long as they have been, or you know, that their feet hurt, or that they're getting tired, or they're hungry. You know, anything you can do to keep their minds off, preoccupied, it's just going to make your hike that much more successful. I hope you like these ideas, and thanks very much.